it's easy to brush it off as like fluff, but I've never seen Twilight as fluff whatsoever. I thought it was extremely romantic.
I'm really excited today to be chatting with Sam Champagne, the lead vocalist, the one and only, as he said, behind the Twilight experience in concert. Sam, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
You know what? It is wonderful to chat with you. I would love to hear. Can you tell us about the evening? We've seen these things, films with live scores are happening. They're much more common now. But can you talk about the evening and why Twilight makes it so special?
Well, it's about the movie, really. We're seeing the full movie start to finish with all the music played live by musicians. So I get to sing all the songs from the movie, male voices, female voices. I just have to make it happen. And I think that's what makes it a really unique experience, because usually for other styles of movies like the Star Wars or the Lord of the Rings, it's already all scored out. And this is a much more pop focused cine concerts or movie concerts, where it's like pop songs, rock, folk. It's all these different genres, and you get to hear me try my darndest to make all the different styles work. Coming from a classical background, it wasn't like the most obvious thing to do, to make my voice like fit the female voices, to fit the male voices, to fit the rock, to fit, like, it was quite a challenge, but it was a really fun one at the same time.
Yeah, how did you come to be involved in it? Because, like you said, you're like coming from a classical background, and it is cool to see this sort of film, and where the soundtrack has more pop to it, has more life to it. And I'm not taking anything away from your Star Wars, your Back to the Futures, or anything like that. But like you said, that's just the score is beautiful in and of itself. But you're really adding something to the film. So how did you come to be involved?
Well, they needed someone who would be able to do like all the different styles and do it sort of believably. And it calls for a male voice specifically, so they couldn't have gone with like a female voice. It's just like what the people behind the Twilight movie concert were looking for. So I was asked to do it, and I was just like so excited, because Twilight is honestly one of my favorite franchises. I'm a big franchise fanatic, and in my life, surrounded by all these like Twilight, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, I kind of have to. It's kind of good that it found me in a way, because ever since I was a kid, I loved, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and now to be part of Twilight, it's just so cool, because I used to fantasize that I was like a vampire in Twilight when I was a kid, and now I feel like Edward.
Well, honestly, I wanted to ask you about that because this film, I think the original, I think it came out 16 years ago, which is wild to me. I don't like how time works. But um, what in your mind makes Twilight so special? Like, what is it what is the legacy of a film like this?
Wow. So it's easy to brush it off as like fluff, but I've never seen Twilight as fluff whatsoever. I thought it was extremely romantic, this idea of love at first sight, and this idea of enduring love that lasts even longer than a lifetime, two souls connected forever. And I think it's sort of this fantasy idea of soulmates. And we all want that. We all want to find our soulmate, to find our Bella, to find our Edward, that we're like someone that we are just completely connected to. And we'll never break that connection ever, no matter what happens, no matter through death or through time, that connection will never be broken. So I think it's that romantic notion that we all love so much.
It still is one of those sweeping films in a small environment, like, or at least I mean, it certainly grows as the franchise goes on, but that first one is just sort of localized, and it's such a sweeping and intense relationship. It's really unique, and especially for a young adult, because this one really sort of kicked off, I think, the young adult craze for that particular time. I think this was pre-Hunger Games.
Oh, really?
I think I could be wrong on that, or at least this was the franchise I think that really sort of blew it up. But um, let's talk about the music here, as well. Like we've talked a little bit about how it's more poppy. There's more of a musical musical, it sounds ridiculous to say, but there's more of a vocalized performances in this one. How do you think the soundtrack brings the film to life? Because this one, I think, that really relies on it.
Hmm. I think it has to do with the setting. That's the first thing that comes to mind. But since Forks, the town, is so gloomy, glum, gritty, you're not going to set that to like some sprawling John Williams operatic orchestral fantasy. Like it's going to be folk. It's going to be alternative rock. It's going to be like this kind of grungy, gritty music that lights up the town, the surroundings, the woods. I think it has to do with the setting and also the mood. It's Forks, but which means that it's not like California, so it's not sunny, beautiful. It's gonna be this like moody emo music because it's all dark and cloudy. So I think the music really reflects the setting and puts you there like right away.
And that's interesting too, because that's one of the things that when I think of the franchise, I think of first is its like visual tone. Like it's very much, you can feel the weight of the shadows in this particular space. It's sort of which I think is really interesting. And talk about the film for a moment. I think one of the things that Bella says, she talks about, I like the night. Without the dark, we'd never see the stars.
Hmm.
And I was wondering, in your mind, what that means to you, and do you think that there's something special about the night in that way?
Oh boy, that's a big question. And I watched this YouTube video that really enlightened me on this subject. They were talking about how, this is a little bit of a tangent, but it's extremely relevant at the same time. They were talking about how during this time, the 2008 10s, music especially, and movies a bit, the Marvels, the franchises like that, it was all about like super poppy, super over the top, super CGI, like crazy Nicki Minaj, Lady Gaga, everything was like over the top.
Yeah.
And then here comes movies like Twilight, and in the music sphere, Lana Del Rey, which is all about the opposite. It's not about like a life that's greater than that of your own. It's all about a really normal, down to earth. It's like romanticizing the simple life, the darkness, romanticizing the mundane, and that was a totally new notion at this time, where everything had to be fake, everything had to be over the top CGI, crazy music videos, lots of pink bubblegum stuff. And then you have movies like Twilight and artists like Lana Del Rey that are like, no, we can find beauty in our darkness. And it's only by, like you said, being in that dark space that you can see the stars. So I think it came at a time where there was this like cultural shift where people decided to romanticize their dark emotions and realize that there's a lot of value in them. And ever since then, it's just like been an idea, I guess, that has taken off, which is a good thing, because we shouldn't be afraid of our emotions or the darkness.
Yeah, and it is interesting too, because there's, like you said, there's such an intensity in their relationship, and the relationship is I want to use the word pure. I'm not sure if that's an accurate description, but there's just such an intense connection between the two of them. But yet there is this sort of question of our inner darkness as well, and certainly Edward is wrestling with that the entire franchise as well. But yeah, I see that. I see what you're saying. I have to ask, Team Edward, Team Jacob.
Oh boy.
Even after all this time, where do you sit?
Well, okay, I'm in my heart Team Edward, but Jacob can get it on the side.
I felt that. I was like, this dude gets a raw deal.
Yeah, you could marry Edward. He's a good. Jacob is like, he's young still. You need a man sometimes.
I used to joke with fans of the franchise that I was Team Mike, because he was just, I think he's one of the
Mike, the blonde one.
He's just there. He's just there. Nothing wrong with the guy. He's just he's getting the raw deal. He's just anyway.
That's funny. Team Mike.
There's no team for Mike. But I mean, other than that, I'd be Team Jacob. I think. I don't know.
Why? Why are you Team Jacob?
I don't know. Well, by the end, I admit the story by the fourth or film, it goes off in this other direction. But
Hmm.
I don't know. I thought that he had maybe a real energy to him that I thought, okay, this dude, he's got it. But Edward's the soul of the series, and I mean Edward and Bella. It's Bella, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Edward and Bella are the obviously the soul and the core of the film. But yeah, I always thought Jacob was. I thought he was getting the shaft unnecessarily. I admit.
Oh, true.
Come on, man.
I know. These love triangles. It's a tragedy waiting to happen.
But no, it really is a fun film, and it's a fun project. Now I know that you're coming to Toronto on September the 6th, but you're in Montreal the night before. Is that right? On
Yeah,
September the 5th.
very true.
Now, are you touring from there? I think I said it was just here one night only. Is it going broader?
Well, so far that's what we have confirmed. I'm fingers crossed, hoping that I'll sing it more because I love doing it. Like the practicing, getting to learn the music. It's been so much fun. So if I could do more of it, I would love that. But so far, Montreal and Toronto are confirmed, and that's going to be lots of fun.
I do hope you get to do other projects because I think this is a fascinating way to go back to the film, revisit the film,
Mm.
and sort of give it new life, which I think is wonderful, honestly. Um, Sam, thank you so much for the time. I really do appreciate it. And it sounds like it's going to be a ton of fun. I wish you the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Steve. I really appreciate the time today. And Team Mike.
Team Mike. Team
Team Mike.
Have a great day.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Thanks so much. Bye.